Are you there?
I'm here.
You're both there. Do the show.
Thank you. Okay, I couldn't. I was used to seeing myself. All right. Well,
Did you pay your taxes?
John, why don't you just do the introduction, and I'll just trust that we're actually streaming.
Okay. So this is the writer's room. We are going to write our show, right?
Something like that. Yeah, I think so.
Okay, cool. I came up with a thing for what we are.
Okay.
So the Geeks of Wrath is John, Karen, and whoever else wanders on camera. GOW is an educational entertainment show focused on the nerdy, the geeky, the weird, the divergent, and the obscure. Additionally, you, the audience, get to see how the sausage is made on a bi-weekly writer's room. That's this.
I like this. Question though.
Yes.
Do people want to know how sausage is made? I mean, it might be appealing for some people, but hi.
What we doing?
We're talking.
Oh, hi, Frank.
Hey,
that's Frank. Frank is going to also be part of the show.
Nope.
Frank will be assisting us when Frank will be wishing us well.
No.
Frank will be actively antagonizing us, and anything we learn or create with Frank will be entirely by accident. I hate that you remind me of everyone I've ever worked with. This is why.
Does this show need a shadow? He's so when you die, you become a ghost or a wraith, and your urge to destroy yourself, which is always present, becomes stronger when you don't have a body, and that's referred to as the shadow.
This in the microphone more while you're explaining this World of Darkness reference from the late 90s. Keep going. This is fascinating. Hey, wait, no.
That was me. That was all me. I actively removed Frank from the room because I absolutely know how to do that with the software that we have.
You don't sound as confident as you normally do, but you know what? We're here to support each other.
Yeah, it happened. So, yeah.
The fact of the matter is, it happened.
and
that was important.
That was our one goal. Like, it happened. So we're halfway there. Yeah. How was your week? What else is happening with you?
I've just been thinking about this, and I got a letter from the IRS. I was really sure the IRS wasn't going to exist anymore.
Yeah. I think we both did that, and we reinforced each other's what's the word? Psychosis. And so we both believed there was no IRS left to come after us. But like, it was great. Like, they told me what I needed to pay and where to pay it. So that was about how much brain power I've had lately. Just tell me what to pay and how to do it. Yeah.
That's good. I'm going to do that as well. I'm going to pay the IRS.
Oh.
In case anyone's listening.
In case they're listening. Yeah. I guess. I don't know.
Listening, are you?
God is listening. God wants you to pay your taxes.
I am almost certain that's not true.
Well, the American God does.
Oh. Yeah. Damn it.
What else?
Well, if you're listening, God, I'm going to pay my taxes. But I've also had this. Do you think maybe that's why I have this unshakable feeling of dread?
No, I believe that is fascism, and we were hoping at least we get the bonus non-existent IRS to make up for all of the fascism. But like, I gave you some suggestions. I was curious if you tried them out. Like if you trying to. Well, I don't know. You tell me.
Suggestions like hiding?
No, I said you should sometimes like you can't logic yourself out of anxiety. So
Oh, yes,
yeah,
Sideshow Bob.
yeah.
So here's the thing: Sideshow Bob is still scary. I mean, he is a murderer.
But he walks into rakes. He walked into like all of the rakes. There's a
But
whole
the
like
only
it's
reason the Simpson children survive is because their names on the show. This was stated explicitly.
yeah.
Surely someone will come along and save the Simpson children, but I'm not a Simpson child. I'm Milhouse at best.
No, you change the script. Like surely someone will come along and save the founder of the Geeks of Wrath. And then you invoke the presence of plot armor that covers you naturally.
I don't know about. Is there an opposite of plot armor? I have whatever Yuji has in Jujutsu Kaisen. Not plot.
He's got plot armor.
So many bad things happen.
Yeah, no, I think well, I mean, he's an abusive relationship with the writer of Jujutsu Kaisen, I think.
Yes, much like me and whoever is in charge of this reality.
Yes.
Except it's very one-sided.
Yeah.
Yes. It's all one-sided abuse. I don't know. Maybe no. I guess maybe Wile Coyote might be a better antagonist because he's more of a danger to himself than to the Roadrunner.
Was there like a twist on that? Like he finally catches the Roadrunner, but like the Roadrunner
The
is a giant.
Roadrunner was like 10 stories tall, and he held up the sign saying, "Now what?"
Okay. Well, then what happened after that?
That was the end.
Oh, I feel kind of shafted. Like you finally catch the fucking Roadrunner, and he's 10 stories tall, and I don't know, like, who's that really tall lady that everyone wants to get stepped on by in My Hero Academia, or the Russian
Mount
vampire
Lady.
that everyone wants? Yeah, Mount Lady, or like the 9-foot tall Russian vampire. Like, that's a happy ending for some people, I think.
You finally get what you want, but it's insurmountable. That's not a happy ending.
Oh, you finally got what you want, and it's exactly your fetish was. But no, I think.
No, you finally get.
Sense and is sadder.
It's sad. It's not. He catches the Roadrunner, but the Roadrunner is too big for him to do anything with. So it's still. So now it's just the beginning of another mountain, another rock to roll up a mountain.
Yeah.
It's like you finally get the rock up the mountain, and and instead of going down, there's a little like plateau, and there's another mountain.
Yeah. I was having an argument with Drew about Sisyphus, and he's like, no, Sisyphus doesn't get crushed by the rock. Like, he very much does it. I'm like, oh, right, because, like, that would be great if I got crushed by the rock. I wouldn't have to suffer anymore. But instead, I'm still doomed to push it up the fucking hill. Yeah. But I don't know. That reminds me of a voice memo you left me a couple days ago, because sometimes we send each other helpful to emotionally distraught to like hilarious voice memos.
They're
And I think
always distraught, even if they're funny. They're the distraught there all the time.
A wild crystal has appeared.
A wild crystal has appeared. Yes,
oh
it is me. It works. Yeah. I was surprised. Like usually I have more trouble just popping in something like this, but hello. Hello, I'm excited to be on the table. Literally, we're next to the coffee. We're just faces facing the ceiling at someone's desk.
Yeah, I didn't say that you were coming because I didn't want to pressure you, but so
Surprise! It is a wild crystal. Yes, feel free to um, catch up. And hello.
hello.
It's good that you said it that way because I play a lot of Pokemon Go, so I knew exactly what was happening.
Yeah, so does Crystal. So I mentioned that you would be talking about some I Pokemon bereavement, I think.
Mhm.
But first, I want to try to play this delightful voice memo. How do I do that?
Well, I think it's good that you brought up Pokemon because it's almost next weekend is Go Fest, and
Ooh.
and a lot of people think that Pokemon Go went away, but all of North Jersey is going to be full of people playing it, and it's going to snag traffic, and people are going to hate us again. By us, I mean Pokemon Go trainers, which is good.
Which I really love. This is some of the ways like when I really like internet and technology when catching virtual pocket monsters has like interrupted actual workday flow of traffic. Like I think that's a beautiful thing. I think it's really cool that a community effort and this fandom has like overtaken the normies for a day or a short time. I think that's something to be proud of. So I
Like
think that's
you.
very cool. You're
Oh,
going.
keep going. Yeah.
No, just very cool you're going. I support it.
I
So
like you would not believe it because I'm thinking like a couple years ago we were together and we were going through Central Park and there was like a stampede of people running into Central Park and I was like, what the fuck is going on? And you're like, there's an Articuno in the meadow, in the sheep's meadow. And I think we had to go after it. I think that was how it was. I think that was what happened.
no, there wouldn't be a wild Articuno. It would be a raid.
No, it was a rare Pokemon. I think it might have been before raids, but maybe it was. I don't
Oh,
know.
that was a long time ago
It was
because
a really long time ago. Yeah,
it's
it was.
almost
That was my entire point.
it's almost the 8th anniversary. Wait, yeah, no, ninth. It's almost the ninth year.
Yep. Yep.
It's almost the ninth year. I started playing July 7th of 2016.
Oh wow. Have you been active the whole time? Or like
There was
in
a
and out?
there was a year that I wasn't really playing a lot. Um, because I had hit level 40 and I thought there were no more fights to fight. But then they increased the cap to level 50.
Is there a
And
voice?
I think we heard the disembodied voice of Frank.
so
Oh
so Crystal, did Karen explain to you what all this is?
no, she said
What?
that I won a contest and you guys were going to give me a surprise. I was gonna take a cruise somewhere in the world and I was gonna find out live on this stream.
The
No, she did.
surprise? Oh.
Yes.
Oh, please tell me where I'm going. Oh, I would love to riff on that. No, she did a
Uh,
great job. But I would love to hear from your perspective too, because I just would like to hear.
So we have this show, Geeks of Wrath, and we need to write funny things for it. So we're trying to come up with funny things, but life has been kicking both of us in the teeth. So we invited other people to join in our little writers room and help us find the light side of oh god everything. Like
yeah.
to combat my existential well, no, they're not existential, they're quite real feelings of dread. I suggested that me and Karen start our own therapy practice.
Oh, right. I was trying to play this. I don't know that I can. I didn't upload it, and that was my fault. But I don't know. I can just forgive me. I'm going to do something terrible.
Hi, it's the disembodied voice of your producer. Do you have what's the source of this audio that you want to share?
It's on my computer. It's
Is
a
it Is it a tab? Like
It's
you
a
could,
file, but I could try to open with music.
Imagine if we opened a practice ticket.
I don't know if you could hear that, but that
I
was
could
Josh.
kind of hear it, but it's a little awful.
Yeah.
All right. Well, just play it this way, and then we'll all use the theater of imagination.
Okay, cool.
Imagine if we opened a practice together. It'd be like you walk in the door and there's like a door to the left and a door to the right, and it's like a waiting room divided. Choose the therapist less traveled because we are wildly different. And it would be great if like we didn't provide any information about us.
You can notice a theme.
Or like one of those like put 3 guardians as the receptionists and like one or like two receptionists, and one receptionist only lies and one receptionist only tells the truth, and you have to like riddle them to see which therapist would be best for you. That'd be awesome.
What the hell was I talking about?
You were talking about opening a therapy practice together. I think
I
this is
understand that part, but it sounds insane. It's madness. But also, so the receptionist would be some kind of imp or something.
yeah. Do you not remember? Like you sent this to me on Saturday night.
Yeah. So one receptionist only tells the truth, and one receptionist only lies. And you have to question them to find out which one of us will be your ideal therapist.
Yeah, and I was so fascinated because it started out like so reasonable. And then, like I did go to therapy school.
I also went to therapy school.
Me too. Yeah, you're actually a practicing therapist. But yeah, it just kind of comes out because we have just wildly different approach to problem solving a lot of the time.
Yes.
So, oftentimes we'll try to give each other advice and we're like, I don't think that works for me, but I'm very amused by your suggestion. Like when I told him, like, well, why don't you just try making your fear really, really silly and imagine Sideshow Bob is chasing you and trying to kill you. And then he well, actually, Sideshow Bob is a murderer. Like, you're absolutely right, by the way. But I don't know. I couldn't think of anyone else that would be like incapable, like that would be a legitimate murder that would like you'd have some kind of comedic rule or running gag that like served as functional plot armor.
So okay, so maybe we'll do that on the show, right? We'll have listeners, we'll have viewers flip a coin, and if they get heads, I answer their question, and if they get tails, you answer their question.
Yeah,
and they have to
know what the other
they have to do what we say.
Yeah,
I like that this could have been something that happened in the Odyssey.
Actually, I was thinking, and I like the interactive element of having the viewer like control or get the advice, or like something happens, it's one of you two. I wonder if is there a legend or some mythological story? Or maybe I'm just thinking of like a door knocker from Labyrinth or something, where like one door will lie and one will tell the truth, and you're not sure which one to go through. Like I feel like there's something, or maybe
I believe it is Labyrinth.
Maybe it's just that I'm thinking of Labyrinth, but I like it. I like the, and you two are really different people, I mean, like, so I think it'd be fun to, you get
black.
one or the other. I'm black. I actually had
black and white. Okay, you know what? That's my dog.
Hello, dog. Hello, dog.
So Crystal, maybe you could be the receptionist.
Yeah, if you need some like, the impartial other character. So you're two different types of therapists, and you give different like
one therapist only lies, one therapist only tells the truth.
Well, I guess
it's not the truth, because otherwise like our license will get revoked, or we'd have to call ourselves something else.
Well, then I'm thinking like and maybe I'm probably taking it too seriously. Taking something silly too seriously, like objectively, like if you say one always tells the truth and one always tells lies. Like, so what is the question? Like, why do I have a fear of balloons? And you're like, it's because of your mother. No, it's because of the traumatic clown experience as a child. Or no, like, do they have
Yeah.
different? Like, what is? I guess how would you know which one is true or which one isn't?
We
Or do
don't-
you have different opinions or theories or?
We only do harm.
We
What?
only,
No, that's the opposite of that. Is it the ethical code?
Well, that's why you don't go to Twitch for your
therapy.
mental health advice. We're
Okay.
really helping people. We're really helping people that by giving them awful mental health advice on social media so that they go to real people in real life.
Yeah.
yes. When I said you two are very different, like that's what I just like knew you were gonna bring up something like that. Like, let's do harm. And you're like, no, not that, like, not that. And you're like, yes, it's a great idea, like brazenly going towards something. And then there's like Karen, the like, oh, here goes. Like Keenan and Kel
Yeah.
back in the day dating us. But
But
I like it. I like the therapists.
Actually, you're dating you guys because I was too old for that show.
I was gonna say I'm dating me squarely in a very gosh, I even said that to somebody recently.
So I brought up Pokemon. Speaking of, all right, so what are you gonna do? You think people have bereavement when they trade? I actually do have Pokemon bereavement. Should I start there?
yeah, let's start with you. Let's start with the therapist that's supposed to help us not grieve. Talk about how they're actively grieving.
Just let it out. Let it
That's a
out.
therapeutic style too. It's a valid choice.
I had a perfect shiny Rayquaza, and I sent it to the professor. And the thing is, legendaries, when you try and send them to the professor, it asks you if you really want to do it. It asks you if you really, really want to do it. And I was staring at my phone, and
Say no. That's your first clue. Like, all right, if the game is asking you, you can have the choice, and then it's like, are you sure? I'm like, no, I don't know.
Just
But it
kidding.
was like
Professor
I
Oak
wasn't-
took it back. But no,
It was like my shadow. My shadow did it. Like I wasn't in control. Like I was staring at my phone and I saw my fingers sending it. And it's like usually the first time I'm like, oh, this is an accident. But I said yes, I do want to do this. And then after it was done, I realized what I was done, and I was horrified because perfect shiny legendaries are really, really rare. And I just sent it away, and I don't know why I did that. And it bothers me. It bothers me a lot.
What did it tell you? Is it like, oops, that professor's unreliable, or like that professor did a test and accidentally killed your Pokemon? Like, what happened to it?
Because that's how you get rid of what you catch. You send it to the professor, and then you get candies, which we all decided means that they grind it up, turn it into candy, and feed it to others of its kind.
so that they can obtain more levels.
Yes. I mean that's not
Oh.
canon, but we're all pretty sure that's what happens when you send them to the professor.
It's like a horse to the glue factory.
You can put it in the chat.
I've sent millions of Rattata to their doom. Because why would the professor just be holding on to 1 million Rattata for you? No, he's probably killing them.
He might be experimenting on them. They might be like the Pokemon equivalent of lab mice.
Yeah, there maybe is a sketch of some kind. I just feel like this has taken a dark, twisted turn in Pokemon. And I don't know I know Pokemon, like the first 150, like their names, but I only ever played Pokemon Snap. So I've been watching my husband playing Brilliant Diamond or the Shining Pearl or one of them. I'm not sure which one. And I had so many questions all the time.
Series.
Yeah, they're just like the Switch version of it, but like all the time I'm like asking questions. So like you can send your Pokemon to a professor and they get turned into candy? Like, I mean, you get candy back, but like
candy back. But where does the candy come from? Where does the candy come from?
it reminds, did anyone see that comic of a banana? Like it's a bunch of bananas and there's a fresh one who is like, I can't wait to be eaten. And then there's like the old one that's like, like, you're never gonna get eaten, kid. And he's like, well, at least I could be banana bread. And they're like, nobody's banana bread. Like everybody. Like you could probably find Google banana comic and it's that one. But that's what it reminds me of, a bunch of Rattatas. And they're like, why is the professor keeping us? Like, what are we going to do? I'm like, when do we get to fight again? They're like, we're never fighting again. We're turning into candy.
I
Like,
mean,
or we're
maybe
here
they
for
had
sick
it during
experiments.
Pokemon cancer or something.
I just think, and for people who know the within the world, they would probably get like, yeah, I don't know the fans you're reaching, but if you're looking for other Pokemon people, like they would know those in and outs of the game too.
Oh, I have never. Pokemon Go is the only game I've played. I watched most of the show, but the only game I've played. So I know most of them. I know most of them. I know like 7 generations. Yeah.
The most important question.
Many.
Can you name your Pokemon in Pokemon Go?
Yes.
And you
Yes.
do, right?
Not all of them. Only a few.
Why?
But yes, I do.
Why would you not name it?
Because I have 3,250.
And they all matter. They all have a little soul, and they're all on deck ready to fight for you, right?
Yeah.
Like, my husband never named his Pokemon, and he was catching them, and I'm like, what are we going to name it? And he's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, we're going to name it something. I'm like, you're just going to keep it in a ball and never even acknowledge it? Like, it's shocking to me that people don't name their Pokemon, because that's like the best part, I feel like.
I named one of my Tyranitar Gogeta.
Mm-hmm.
I named my
Gogeta.
Melmetal Colossus.
Mm-hmm.
I named my Ho-Oh Simurge, the Firebird. I didn't name the Satan one. There's a devil. There's a devil in Pokemon.
Mm.
It's Yveltal. It's actually
Yikes.
the literal biblical devil. Yeah. Oh, I named my Gyarados the Kraken.
Nice.
The Kraken. I have 2. There's Kraken and the Leviathan.
They have like very serious, like proper names. Like there's reasons why.
Oh, so my top 3, they're Leviathan, the Kraken, and Charybdis.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm not naming all 3,200 Pokemon that I have.
Okay, so for future writer's room, for sketch idea, I wrote down John finds out the truth about Professor Oak when he attempts to get his Pokemon back. And then Crystal and I, maybe we can try to name all of John's Pokemon. Like if he won't name them, we'll just send him names.
I'm great at naming them. We have great names. They're not serious, but there's always a reason.
Oh, and there's Lord Zapdos, my perfect shiny, because Zapdos is my Lord and Savior. I'm Team Instinct.
That's
So-
that's the electric bird.
Yes.
Okay.
Or Zapdos-sama if you were in Japan.
Oh, did you know that all the Pokemon are based on like local spirits? Because Japan is Buddhist, but there's also, it's syncretic. So Shintoism is a part of that as well. And that means like the mountain will have a particular spirit. Or like some people will take their computers to get blessed by a priest if they feel like their computer is not acting up or like their games. But yeah, it was part of the Shinto idea of having local spirits. I'm not sure why you're catching them, but traditionally you can catch them in shrines. What? Did you not know this?
No.
Okay. I can't believe I didn't tell you already.
I have 2 perfect Raikou, and I named them Shiva and Kali.
Yeah, there's nothing saying they can't be avatars of Shiva and Kali.
But that's also a Walking Dead reference. It goes very many levels deep.
Okay.
There was a guy in The Walking Dead who had 2 tigers, and he named them Shiva and Kali. So Raikou is a tiger, so that's what. It's an electric tiger. But explain
the reason of the divorce. My husband never named his Pokemon. It was like I was pretty shocked. I don't know why. It's like I guess I just think of them as fun little pets, like a Tamagotchi. And he's like, no, these are such just for function. Like they're here to serve me in my fights. And I'm like,
oh, Drew and I got into a fight about the Jujutsu Kaisen game because he was like, no, like this character has a buff and it enhances damage, and then you got this character is a debuff and it decreases damage the enemy deals. I'm like, I just have all the characters play that I think should be friends.
No,
He's
I
like, why are
mean,
you leveling up that character? They're terrible. I'm like, because he's the assistant. He's supervising when they're fighting, or he should be. So he goes on battle with them.
I have a Espeon that I named Legion after Professor Xavier's son because he has enhanced psychic powers. Actually, I should name Mewtwo Legion.
mm-hmm.
But
Who's the guy with the spoon? Alakazam? Is that his
yeah,
name?
Abracadabra Alakazam. Yeah.
Yes, that one is Mr. Caputo. And my husband did name that one though. It's like Teresa Caputo, but like a boy, because he's psychic Pokemon. Just women and the women that love them.
But yeah, I'm somewhere in the middle. Like I really only am interested in Pokemon for their fighting ability, but I still I don't. If something has no fighting ability, I don't care about it. I also hate Pikachu's and hats.
Pikachu's in hat.
Yeah, look at your face light up. Like
Why?
no,
See, you hate it. She lights up.
Yeah.
Great foils. Why do you hate Pikachu's and hats?
because they're useless. The biggest lie the devil ever told was that Pikachu was useful in a fight. It's not. It is absolutely not. Ash,
It's useful for selling shit. Like people bought a lot of things with Pokemon on it, with Pikachu on it specifically.
but you cannot ever there. Well, there's certain leagues where you can like actually use a Pikachu and it's fine. But this is I didn't expect to get this deep into it. What is your bereavement with Pokemon?
I'm healed. I want to keep talking about you.
You discovered a new layer of psychosis.
Yeah. Also,
And you
last
wanna
time
take
I
it?
told Crystal wanted to hear about Pokemon Model UN. That you
I was
did.
curious what that was. Yeah, I told my husband
It
you were
is-
part
it
of it,
is
and he's like, "What
literally-
is it?" I'm like, "I
It
don't
is
know."
literally what it says it is. So it's Model UN in the Pokemon world. So like all the different regions have. So instead of like, there's not really a government in Pokemon, which is weird. If you notice, so all the leaders are either professors or heads of gangs or CEOs. So like the gang leaders aren't officially part of the UN, but they influence the UN. But
Okay.
it's mostly like I forgot what the names are. So like Sylph. So like there's CEOs from the different companies in Pokemon who do research. And so like they're part of the world, and the professors from the different regions and gym leaders. So in Pokemon UN, you pick a gym leader or a professor, or like you could be a CEO of Silphco, who the ones who made Mewtwo. And there are crises. So like a crisis could be Kyogre and Groudon are fighting, and they're causing massive tornadoes and earthquakes and floods. So all the regions try to get their resources together and to figure out how to put Kyogre and Groudon back to sleep. So there's a crisis alert. So then you make resolutions and you talk to people from other regions and you decide, what resources you have, and because I like to play the guy from the Alola region, because they don't believe in capturing their legendaries. They like to live with their legendaries in harmony. But like the mainlanders are like, we have to put all our legendaries in Pokeballs and use them for art. So it's like living with nature versus the Western idea of bending nature to your will.
Mm-hmm.
And
Like
then,
me and my husband, I feel like again resonating.
yes. So like that was the last one I was in. So it was like, what do we do about Groudon and Kyogre? And some people were like, well, we heard that Rayquaza, so how do we summon Rayquaza? Like, we don't know how to summon Rayquaza. We just need to capture them. So maybe we just gather a bunch of grass types, because grass are strong against both of them, and we'll battle them and knock them out. But then we're like, well, who's going to have them? And everybody's like, I don't know, maybe Sylph, because we have money. And then, but like, it's pretty sure that like Sylph is going to send it to Giovanni. So there's like intrigue, but
Giovanni is probably not good. You can tell by the name.
He's the head of Team Rocket.
Oh no!
Of course. Oh no! Not those. I was just thinking about that, like when you said there's no government in Pokemon, and I was like, no wonder,
No wonder there's organized crime.
Those two, yeah, like why were they a threat? Like they're like the gayest people on the planet and a cat. Like why was anyone afraid of them? Like it was great that they had like a little dance and a song every time they showed up, but like why were they enemies? I don't know. Training. Sorry, sketch idea. Who made Team Rocket, and do they train them like I'm this and I'm that? And they're like, no, we need a snappier. Like if you're a bad duo, you got to be like quicker on the like. Who choreographs like the K-pop studio that manufactures bands? Who makes the villains in Pokemon? Because I don't know, they're all very flamboyant.
Outside of Jesse and James, there's Butch and Cassidy, and Butch and Cassidy are like the competent versions of them. But yeah, Team Rocket is actually a threat outside of Jesse and James.
So they're like the doofy ones, but there's other actual threats.
Because they're not actually villains. They just had a hard life. Jesse and James have a lot of backstory.
That's really surprising coming from you, who always argues that my favorite characters don't deserve redemption arcs.
Well, because your favorite characters usually commit genocide. Jesse and James fail. They fail whenever they try and do something bad. They fail, so they never accomplish anything actually evil.
I feel like that doesn't make a difference. Like,
they're also the only ones who were there in person to see Ash win the championship. Out of all of his friends, Misty watched it on TV. Brock watched it on TV, but from his day ones. Jesse, James, and Meowth were there. They're really his actual best friends.
All right. And why does that Meowth talk again? Like, isn't that not a thing?
It's very sad. He was very lonely, so he taught himself to talk so he could be friends with Jesse and James.
It's interesting that, like, well, yes, you're right. That's sad. Poor cat. He was like, he became a villain. Good for him, I guess. But it just makes you think, like, so this species is capable of speech on its own, and almost no one chooses to do it because, like, who would want to talk to humans? I guess they're like just interesting that, like, yeah, okay, he taught himself, but that's never anywhere else in the Pokemon world. Communication, language, like human language doesn't exist, and like no one thinks it's remarkable. They're just like, oh, those threats again. I'm like, your cat can talk. It's the only one. Like, doesn't anyone think that's remarkable? All right.
Legendaries can communicate, but they don't talk. Psychic types can communicate, but they don't talk. Yeah. No, so you said like it gets kind of dark. If you scratch the surface of literally any Pokemon story, it's incredibly dark. There are ghost types. I came up with a joke, but I don't tell it very much. Like, how do you create a ghost type Eevee? Click, click, boom.
There are ghost Eevees?
No, that's the joke. The only way you'd create a ghost Eevee is by shooting
by killing it.
Yeah.
But there are ghost Pokemon that aren't just that opens a whole can of worms about life and death. Like, did they born as ghosts?
No, there is proof of the afterlife in Pokemon.
Yeah.
What do we know about the afterlife in Pokemon?
There are certainly ghosts there, and but even as a ghost, you can still be forced to fight other Pokemon.
Oh.
Even there is no peace in your afterlife. Like,
no, there's no peace. So Annihilate is there's Mankey, and I can't remember the one in between, but oh god, it's like Manape or something.
Manku.
No, it's a first generation one.
Yeah.
The second generation of Mankey. It gets
Mankini? Actually, no, I don't know. I don't remember. I'm just gonna make up things.
it gets so angry that it dies. It has an aneurysm and dies, and it evolves into an Annihilate.
That's awful. Like there was a point. So Pokemon started, and there were 150 of
Primate.
them.
When Primate gets especially angry, it gets so angry it has a stroke and dies.
No,
And
no,
yes, they showed it in the cartoon.
absolutely not.
It resurrects as Annihilate, and it's a ghost fighting type. It literally
Ghost
dies.
canon?
and it's
That's
very-
not just the show. Like, I could kill a primate right now.
I don't know.
If it
I think
induces stroke,
it has to die of rage for it to evolve.
I could give it a lot of. I could give it meth until it rages and its heart explodes. And then,
Yeah.
Have a
and then-
bunch?
yeah.
You have to kill it to get an Annihilate. A lot of the
I
ghosts
just-
are dead Pokemon or lost spirits.
I'm,
A lot of them are deadly. Ash has canonically died like 3 times because he keeps messing around with ghost types and they steal his soul. But because he's Ash, they bring it back.
This is crazy. This is honestly blowing my mind a little bit. Look at my posture. This is insane. Like I'm very.
And this
Oh,
is just what I know off the top of my head. Like there's darker stuff.
wait.
Like I said, there's Yveltal. No, wait. Yveltal isn't Satan. Giratina is Satan.
Like, I just feel like when they were there was a point when they're like, we have enough, right? We can't think of any more types that are reasonable. Like, we can't think of anything that's not a nightmare for children.
Well,
And they're
they
like,
made-
what if it died like this? Or what if it had its own something like, and now they're like, they can come back from the dead. And now,
Well, wait, there were always ghost types. Gengar is in Generation 1.
Yeah.
oh, I guess yeah, I never thought
I
about
went to
him.
Lavender Town.
I'm trying to think who
Haunter?
wasn't in
Yeah, there's a
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
urban legend about like how a bunch of kids committed suicide after like playing Lavender Town because like the music caused their brain to do strange things. It's a hoax. It didn't happen, but that was like that was a real thing that people believed.
And the fact that they believed it is because Pokemon got weird. They should have
Yeah.
stopped. They had enough money. They
It
went
was
global.
there at the beginning. Ghastly was always there.
They keep him because he's Ghastly and because there's one haunted Pokemon. Okay, but they didn't need to make them evolve and die and then still be Pokemon. Like let them not fight anymore. When does there's it's really interesting about are they utilitarian or are they like for loving and nurturing? You know, like do you name them and keep them or do you just use them for their gifts? But then I don't know.
I fight them. I fight all the time. Let's see.
That's what they're there for, I guess. But
You don't know about Cubone. You don't know about Cubone?
isn't he like? Yeah, I know Cubone, Bone. I remember that one.
Cubone,
But like, what is he wearing? The skull of his mother or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I have Pokemon Sleep as well, and it's like a game to help you sleep. But so every Pokemon has different sleep styles. So it says like Cubone, when it evolves, like sometimes you can find it crying itself to sleep because it still misses its dead mother.
That it wears around on its head.
Yes.
Yeah, that's some psychological damage there.
Oh,
like-
Marowak. Cubone also turns into a ghost type.
That's yeah. Yeah, I guess I never really explored that much. Just to tell the room, I will have to go a little bit. My husband will be home shortly, and it won't be because we started talking too much about creepy Pokemon. And be like, well, on that note, actually, he is about to come in now. So I wish he was here for this. This would have been
So
'cause
Marowak
I'm
went
just
alone.
too much of an outside person.
When it beats opponents with its bone, the cursed flames spread to them. No amount of water will stop those flames from burning. That's from freaking Naruto. Black flames that never burn, that can't be put out.
You
That's
familiar with Naruto?
With
Oh.
Karen in a
Hi, Lucas.
I don't think I'm going to be able to sleep.
Okay. Anyway.
We might have went too far.
he says hello.
Hi.
Probably in another time, a future time. We've been talking about ghost Pokemon. He's just like, yeah, Gengar. That's what he said. Okay.
We can move on to Deformed Frenchman.
We can move on to Deformed Frenchman if you have to go. What
Okay.
I would like Barricade Day, but
Great day. I love that, Karen used to walk around our middle school with like a copy of that book. So it's really cool to see us as adults still like, tying back to Les
I've only
Mis
gotten
and
more weird about it.
She's very weird about it. She's exceptional.
it's a formative thing.
But
No, I've
neither-
really, really enjoyed staying and chatting. Thank you for having me pop in
Oh,
and
yes.
have this pokey chat.
Yes, you are welcome to try and make this thing with us. Although it might cause you to go insane.
Well, what if you're already insane? Do I get less insane or more insane?
There are levels. Like
Do
you
I
can
become a ghost type insane?
you might
Oh, no.
you might become a ghost type.
I'm a ghost type. Oh my god, that'll have me spinning for a while. But no, it was great to see you both, chat with you both, and you too, Ethereal, Frank. And yes, till next time. Bye.
That's the nicest thing anyone's ever said about Frank. Ethereal.
Anyway, I wrote down some sketch ideas based on the talk. So I think that sometimes randomly info dumping on beloved things can be helpful. Yeah.
It's just that there's no part of Pokemon that's not insane. Like there's no part. Like from day one, there's no part. What Mewtwo says one of the deepest philosophical things that has ever been said. I can't remember what it is. Oh god! In the very first Pokemon movie, Mewtwo says something really deep about man and Pokemon and meaning and destiny. And oh, you know what? Huh?
I just googled Mewtwo quotes.
Oh yeah, so did I. I see now that the circumstances of one's birth are irrelevant. It is what you do with the gift of life that determines who you are.
This is from an AI though, so it could be hallucinated.
No, that is the.
Why did they put this on Goodreads? Why is Mewtwo on Goodreads?
Because it's a good read, damn it. It's really like iconic. The world pushes us with no mercy, and when some push back, the world points and cries evil.
This quote, found often on online forums and social media, captures Mewtwo's frustration and sense of injustice. Thank you, Gemini. Behold my powers! I am the strongest Pokemon in the world, stronger even than Mew. This quote demonstrates Mewtwo's pride and belief in his own power. Thanks again, Gemini, for doing the heavy lifting there.
What you do with the gift of life determines who you are. Come on. I didn't learn anything that important in school.
I don't know.
I'll decide my own rules. The circumstances of one's birth are irrelevant. I mean, like, they were in their bag when they were writing this movie.
Yeah.
They were
Pokemon went real hard.
Huh?
Pokemon went real hard.
Yes.
Oh God, I wrote as part of my One Punch Man fanfic, King is trying to give meditation lessons, and he's like, focus on all 150. I have using Pokemon as a meditation. Like, you begin by meditating on every Pokemon, but then finally you can meditate on all 150 Pokemon at once, and that's when you'll have achieved enlightenment or something. I'll have to find it. But standard trope of like geeky gamer accidentally says meaningful things or things that are interpreted as meaningful by just being a general dork. Was the trope I had intended to recreate with that.
Oh crap. So Mewtwo is there's another line like that. People always say like one of the hardest lines in cinema came from Spy Kids, where Steve Buscemi says, "Do you think God stays in heaven because even he is afraid of what he created?" That's from Spy Kids.
But that, on the flip side, that means we're stronger than God, which I would argue is true. Because we have free will. The devil warned God. He's like, I don't think you want to make people that can do things on their own when you come back to bite you.
That's the kind of talk that gets people turned into swan and deer.
I believe that, so in some traditions of Vedanta, there you can reach a level where you can tease God, kind of like a loving spouse might tease their partner. So I like to think we're at that level where we can.
We're on a first name basis.
Yeah, something like that. We can respectfully tease one another, but that's why that kind of was one of my favorite quotes actually, and then we can transition into is from the
spoon and brain.
Huh?
Plastic
Okay, yeah, we can talk about that instead. No, I was thinking of recent headlines, and so like there's obviously like a lot of coverage of microplastics and things, and like as with those types of health claims, we hear a lot of like bizarre claims that get repeated everywhere until they are become fact, even though they're not. So like one of them is like we have the equivalent of a plastic spoon in our brain, or like we eat the equivalent of a credit card every year. Like that's not true. And it was on this wonderful podcast called Science Versus, and their new segment was viral papers, and they did a little jingle that was like viral papers, they're everywhere, but something's gone wrong. Anyway, that was how I learned I didn't have a plastic spoon in my brain, and I was kind of disappointed because like, I have a lot of brain fog, I have a lot of memory loss, and like if I could just blame the plastic spoon. But now the only person responsible is me. So good news.
A lot of plastic in testicles.
Yes, they believe that it could be due to low sperm count, but it is difficult to determine how much plastic is in anything because like you have to look at it. You contaminate the samples just by obtaining them, right? Like you get them from a cadaver and then you put them on a slide, which is plastic. You handle them with gloves, which are plastic. There could be plastics in the lab, like microplastics can be in the air even. Yeah, no, it was like a one-liner that I explained too much. But yeah, we can put it in the pocket for non-writers room live stream.
Autism question mark.
Oh, that was just what we were talking about last night. Like, could I just not pay my taxes because I'm autistic? I was listening to RFK, and he's like, oh, these are people that will never be able to blah, 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 blah. And the first thing was like, pay taxes, hold a job. I was like, okay, first of all, fuck you. But secondly, like, what does it indicate that the first thing he mentioned was pay taxes and then job, and then like later down the line, like we get to date or write a poem or whatever. But yeah, I thought about like, well, what if I organize some kind of like social event, like calling out of work autistic, or like can't write a poem autistic? Because like, I don't know, regardless of whatever weird eugenic undertones are happening, I'm just worried that this will, maybe it will be used to discredit autistic people and further take away their ability to speak for themselves. Like, I didn't have autism on my diagnosis for a long time. I deliberately asked them to keep it off because like there are stereotypes around autistic people, and like I just don't. I'd rather like people look at it on paper and then they look at me, and if it's a new doctor, I can tell they're like, they're not expecting me to like speak or be functional in the way that I'm functional, which like, I don't know, is an interesting social experiment, but in general makes me sad. I don't know. I was just thinking about RFK and how he thinks I personally shouldn't exist. And
Oh yeah, me too.
yeah.
So yeah, we can start a movement to start an autism strike, but
That's
yeah.
big picture. That was probably maybe more. Well, I'll start with the Pokemon sketches and a couple one-liners, and I'll get back to you with the social movement.
work our way up to the revolution.
We'll work our way up to the revolution. We'll start small.
Mewtwo is a great place to start, as we've already. Mewtwo is a great place to start the revolution.
Mewtwo? Yeah. Mewtwo wants you to call out autistic from work. I'm gonna write that down.
I mean, the whole phrase is about the circumstances of your birth are irrelevant. So the circumstances of your birth being autistic is irrelevant. It's what you do with that autism.
That is a little bit ableist if you frame it like that.
It's what?
A little bit ableist if you frame it like that, I think.
It's what you do with the gift of life that determines who you are.
Okay, I guess life as a whole, yeah.
Well, that's the thing. They kind of positioned Mewtwo as a revolutionary leader.
Have we reached the point where I can just eat watermelon out of my spa water jar straight?
I mean, I was going to start drinking, but
yeah,
so the watermelon should be fine.
Okay. It's been out all day, but it shouldn't kill me.
Nah, you're tough.
By now, I'm mostly just attracted to like the color. Like, this is a pretty color. I should eat it. I should put it in my mouth, which is probably not a good instinct to satisfy.
No, I don't think that's evolutionarily healthy.
It starts out with a peakish looking watermelon and ends in me like binging on Tide Pods, I'm sure.
Yeah, you're gonna turn into poison ivy. I don't know, man. I have a Neopet sort of. Yeah, but I haven't started it, so I don't think it can die.
When did you get a Neopet? I'm curious now.
I got it as a present.
Interesting. I played with Neopets in middle school, and I haven't really thought about it since then. But how long ago did you get yours?
I think around Christmas.
Okay, so it might be hanging in there.
It's actually Anya from from Spy X Family.
Aw.
But I didn't turn her on because I don't want to chance her dying. Is that weird? I don't think I'm responsible enough.
I don't know if Neopets can die, actually. I think it's just something people have anthropomorphized. I was remembering incorrectly. There was some kind of online pets forum where they ended up like having to turn off a server, And as a result, like all of the pet rabbits for that online community
What
died.
happened? Oh no!
Well, I mean, did they die? I don't know. They went
Response.
out of existence forever. Like they couldn't be recovered. Yeah, they were moved onto like an unrecoverable server. So it's probably easier to believe that they died other than believing they're just like in that server forever, cut off from everything they know and love. Yeah.
Does everything we do end so darkly?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I was trying to Google it and I didn't find any source that it was Neopets, but I did find an article from Non-Productive.com. Apparently they have their own newspaper. And then I vaguely started to remember, but you could submit things to their newspaper. Let me see if I can present that. It's giving me
Yeah,
all kinds of warnings.
I think I read the letter to the editor, the Neopian Press.
Yeah. Here we go. You can see I was researching Pokemon. There's a suggested agenda. Do Neopet owners feed their Neopets anymore? At first, we all did. A couple times we'd forget and feel guilty, so we'd give them more expensive food. But do people actually feed their Neopets anymore? We don't. We know they don't die. We know TNT doesn't punish us for neglecting the poor innocent Neopets. Is that why people keep starving their pets? Neopets, once designed to connect the real world with the virtual, fun-loving world, has turned into nothing more than the ugly crime we see on real-world television. I don't see the point, says a newcomer to Neopets, who is ashamed to even want his name posted in this article. There is no reason to. They are just here, really, to look pretty. Is that what our beloved Neopian animals have become? An ornament on our user lookup, just there to look pretty. In the handy tips section, I'm citing sources from the Neopians Times. It reads, Neopets are represented as non-sentient beings. Every Neopet is a person, not just a pack. That Neopets represented as non-sentient beings. Every Neopet is a person, not just a pack animal. That is what the article is about. Old Neopet owners, we're getting some Kids Today vibes, like from every editorial. The old Neopet owners would remember when you couldn't go a day without checking your Neopet's hunger and fear they might suffer for your laziness. But over the years, things have changed. People talk on the boards, play the game, search for rare items to fill their galleries, and they've forgotten what Neopets is about. Neopets! This website is not called Boards or Avatar Search. The website was solely based on Neopets, and now we are taking them for granted, using them as a pass to get to the games and webbies. I spoke to some people on the boards on this topic and found a connection between feeding or neglecting and how long the user has been on the site. I always feed my pet, and I feel guilty if I don't. 45 months, I rarely feed my pet anymore. Oh my god, I forgot I had it. LOL.
LOL.
Yeah, this is old. Anyway.
No, I'm not. It's not about the terminology, about the fact that they think it's laughable that they let this sentient being, well,
yeah.
Sentience is in debate.
I can't go a day without seeing if my pet's all right. I am always so worried about them. As soon as they get on Neopets, I feed them omelet and jelly until they are bloated. I think actually that was a dangerous thing. Like your Neopets could get sick. It was kind of bizarre. Like I had to cure them with a smoothie or something. That was a special item I had to grind to obtain. But anyway. Sometimes I'm really bored, mostly when they're crying starts to bug me. With someone who's 20 months, I don't have a pet, but if I had one, I wouldn't feed it. Anyway, this is pinning the blame on newcomer Neopets users. However, it's arguable how representative their sample size is. They could have easily cherry-picked this data to blame the newbies more. Yeah. Anyway, I won't read the entire article. It's here on Neopets.com if anyone would like to continue reading. But I don't know. This is kind of weird, but it gave me joy. And it reminded me of like when there used to be places kids could go on the internet and just like interact with things and not have to pay.
Yeah, like CartoonNetwork.com.
Yeah, yeah.
When Flash went away, that kind of made the internet.
Is it the death of Flash? That
Yeah, I mean, like there were so many, all those games on Cartoon Network, they were Flash games,
okay.
and I feel like that took a lot away.
Things that killed the internet. I'm writing lack of away messages, which we've talked about before.
Yes.
Death of Flash.
Yes.
Okay.
And whatever that stupid thing NBC was using, that add-on that they were using for their stuff, it was like Silver Stream or something. I don't know if that's even a thing. But
anyway, I think this was fun. I am gonna log out soon just because I had migraine and I kind of want to chill.
yeah, you had mentioned that.
Yeah,
So,
but I made it here, and I didn't throw up, which is a legitimate concern.
Geeks of Wrath, you won't throw up.
Geeks of Wrath, you won't throw up. I'll write that down.
So you think this is gonna work?
The show or the I won't show up? I won't show up. I won't throw up. Okay, yeah. This is. I wrote down I won't show up. I meant.
That's not a good sign.
I think it will work. I think this is. I had a lot of fun, and I think you had fun, and I think we came away with a lot of material, and at the same time, we were like very interesting. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Things to have fun, and don't think too much about it.
Yes.
Why is that not our slogan? Have fun, don't think too much. Anyway, I love you. I'm gonna log off for the night, and I will talk to you soon.
Yes, love you too. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Oh, wait, look at the private chats. Oh, never mind. I made a new video for the ending. It should be loop of a typing pulse in the 20s. Up to you to share it. To share a comment, click on the comments menu. What? There were comments this whole time? Never mind. Okay. I get
see me. Oh wait.
They showed up on the stage.
Oh yeah, now I see them.
Well, I really liked it. I'm gonna take screenshots because I think these are all delightful. So.
My husband never named this Pokemon.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.